everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine podcast. I'm super excited about my guest, and we've been talking for a little bit off script, but I'm super excited because she has so many amazing things that I would love her to share with you. But today, my guest is Jessica, and I hope I say this right now, Hoogendoorn. She is a certified naturopathic doctor, a certified nutritional consultant, a certified natural health professional, a master herbalist, and a GAPS practitioner. She is a dynamic wellness educator, an entrepreneur, and the founder of Eat to Live, a luxury, healing-focused skincare and wellness brand built on the belief that what we put in our bodies should be as pure and nourishing as what we put in them. With over a decade of experience in gut health, natural healing, and functional nutrition, Jessica is known for blending science with soul, breaking down complex topics in a way that's relatable, encouraging, and actionable. Her signature approach weaves together an ancestral wisdom, modern wellness strategies, and a deep passion for helping families thrive from the inside out. From healing journeys in her own path to creating in her own family to creating products that change lives, Jessica's mission is simple: to empower women to take their health back and show them they're not alone in this process. So thank you, Jessica, for being here today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. I'm super excited to just connect with you and your audience.
I just love, thank you so much, but I just love all the things that you like, just even talking off air, just like you have like all those certifications, all the things that you've been, have been certified education and all these things. You've done this for a reason. And can you kind of just take us back a little bit on how you got onto this whole natural path journey and just take us back a little bit, share with us.
Sure. So I've always been interested in health. It's always been something I loved. My mom sold supplements out of our home, did massage, and we were very natural minded growing up. And so it was not something new to me, but I really, really dove into it when we first got married. And I wanted to take a class from home initially. And so I started in on an herbalism class. Absolutely fell in love with it, was making tinctures, but I knew that I didn't want to stop there. And so I kept upgrading my education. One of the formulas I made, it was a nerve and stress formula. I had a doctor at a clinic tested it, loved it, started utilizing it for his clients, and it kind of just took off from there. So I kept getting certifications, loved it. And it was really a part of what I did and who I was. And I loved treating my family naturally and holistically and friends. And then what really kind of had it go deep into me, where it became a passion in a whole new way, was when our daughter was 5 years old and was diagnosed with cancer. And so that is when everything that I had learned, the connections that I had made, it became more than just a passion. Now we were fighting for our daughter's life. And so that was kind of where everything took a really deep dive into it. And I was at a conference where a doctor, she was a neurosurgeon, she was a medical doctor, a naturopath. So she was kind of the full package from the UK, was training. Her name was Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. And she asked the question, why are we as natural doctors and natural healers treating people the same way the medical world does? We want, they come to us for something that they're trying to heal from, and we give them an herb or oil or something like that. Those are all good. But why don't we start asking the question, why is someone sick? And if we go to the why and get to the root of it, then we can help them heal from the inside out. And so that kind of totally changed my approach to healing. And that's where the GAPS practitioner comes in. It stands for gut and psychology, or gut and physiology, healing both through healing the gut.
I love that. I love that. And so with your, once this became not just a passion, you were now fighting for your daughter's health. How did that take you into where you are today?
So when our daughter was 5 years old, she was diagnosed with leukemia, and I had a 2-week-old baby, and so it was like a huge big things in life. 6 months into her treatment, we were making maple syrup, and a brick broke, and the boiling sap went over her and our second child. And so she was burned from above the waist to below the knees. She was airlifted. We didn't know if she would live. Our son was burned from the waist down. And that was a whole new area of learning about healing and skin and everything. And it was a very stressful time in our life. We were sitting in the burn and trauma unit, and my husband got a call that the company he was working for, it was over the recession, went bankrupt. And so we had no work, a new baby, two children burned, one fighting for her life with cancer. And so we call it a kind of a Job moment. But in those moments, I wasn't now just fighting for her life. I needed something to help her skin heal because her pain meds didn't work. And so she was losing her mind, going in on herself from pain because she was burned so extensively. She would have needed to been skin grafted over most of her body. And I knew intuitively that just can't happen. Through a series of many God miracles, we were put in contact with someone who knows a natural treatment called the burn and wound treatment. And like I said, through miracles, we trained the trauma staff how to treat burns naturally through a salve, burdock leaves. It's a whole amazing treatment. And so with that, the only skin grafting she needed was on her hand, but normally she'd have been needed to be skin grafted from above her waist to below her knees. And they said, we will watch her every 12 hours. We're going to document it. And if she does okay, we'll continue to use this treatment. If not, she's going to need to be skin grafted everywhere. And so it worked miraculously. We had nurses with tears just running down their face saying, this is a humane way to treat burns. This is what we wish we could do for everyone. And so they took her treatment actually to Washington and got exemption for some people to be able to utilize this treatment. So in that formula, I learned so many things that help to heal the skin, so many things that moisturize, that revitalize cells, because technically she was burned so bad in some areas she wouldn't regrow. New healthy tissue she did. And so our body is so powerful and designed to heal. Our skin is designed to heal. And so taking the ingredients that we use to fight cancer, my mom had skin cancer a few times, and I would use different ingredients on her and help her to fight that naturally as well. And so a combination of life's experiences, your place of pain can be your place of reign. What you learn in one scenario is never just for you, it's always for someone else. And so a year or so ago, I started over that time, I had to go back to work as a naturopath. I had a company called Alternative Health and Wellness where I made tinctures, herbal tinctures, salves, and things like that. But with everything that happened, new baby, burns, all that, I just kind of, after a little bit, I took a sabbatical, sold that business, and we moved from Kentucky back to Michigan. And a year ago, I was just started getting the itch again to formulate. I love to create. And I was just saying, okay, God, I don't need anything more on my plate, but this keeps coming back to me. What's in this? What is here? And so through a series of events, I started getting ideas of what I wanted to do, but didn't know how I could bring it into my life. And I woke up one day from a dream and I had all the list of these ingredients I've used over the years, but it was like this list. And I looked up some of the ingredients and kind of put them together. And I thought, my gosh, that really helps with skin cancer. That is so healing. These are things that are regenerating and anti-aging and healing, but specifically targeting cells you don't want to multiply. And so that kind of started where the Eat to Live business started. I put those ingredients into a tallow balm base and started having people utilize it with literally incredible feedback. Like the stories that came back of what was happening to people's skin, the anti-aging, but also dark spots falling off. It was just amazing. And from there, it went into a sunscreen. I'm like, what if I could take these same ingredients, and when you're out in the sun, you're getting the vitamin D, your body is taking in these nutrients, but you're actually aging backwards. Your kids can eat this sunscreen. The most that'll happen is they're healthier. But you can bake in goodness versus bake in cancer-causing things, which is in your conventional sunscreen. So that's kind of where this all took off, and it continued on to much more, which we can talk about if you like. But that's where the Eat to Live started, was a desire to have products. Like when our daughter had cancer, we didn't put anything on her skin, in her body, that was not fighting for her. And that's how I believe we all should do if we have options. And that's where Eat to Live started.
I love all of that. I love that all the things like, it's to where you said it's we're not putting things, you weren't putting things into your daughter's body unless it was specifically helping her heal her body.
Mhm.
I love that the skin cancer, all the things that you have developed, and like when you the whole thing behind it. Like I've taken biology, I've taken chemistry, I've done all these things, but I've never thought, like until recently, to really look at what do we put into, like, when we go to the grocery store, what are we putting into our bodies? All the chemicals, just even like the deodorants, like just really recently that I start looking in, like, okay, wait, I got to really look at the deodorant that I'm using, that I'm putting so close to, parts of my body. When you hear that, like the breast cancer, I've known so many people recently who've gotten breast cancer, and we don't always know how they come, but just to make sure that we're very mindful, because we only have one body, right? Our body's a temple, and we need to make sure that we're using it the best that we can without hurting it, so to speak. And so kind of tell us a little bit. I mean, you said there's more products to come, so tell me just a little bit, because I know you just launched something new, and I would love to hear more about that too.
Absolutely. Well, going back to that comment on the skin, if we look at there's patches, people put on patches for hormones, or for nicotine patches, or we put, we use our skin as a conduit for so many things. And so I always tell people it is more important what you put on your skin, that you look out what's the ingredients are in it, than what you put in your mouth. Because when we eat something, our body has a filtering process. When you put something on your skin, it's in your blood in seconds or minutes, let's say. And so if we are not as conscious of what we're putting on our skin, we are putting into our blood, into our children's blood, so many toxins. Like the baby lotions are so toxic, baby shampoos, but just lotions, period. Our skin is our biggest organ. And so if we want to utilize it, we need to be careful what we're putting on it. And at the same time, what if we could use our skin as a conduit for health? What if what we're putting on our children's skin, we're rubbing them down, we're putting on every single day, was actually benefiting our health, was soaking into the blood and going to work for us? So everything that we made with Eat to Live is on that level of purity and healing. So we made tallow bombs with pure therapeutic essential oils, castor oil in some of them, jojoba, olive oil, and then everything like the tallow base is all your vitamins A, D, E, and K. So that is actually putting into your body health that in minutes is going to work for you. And we have a decongestant that we've made for wintertime that is very powerful. It will open any sinuses, made to also heal, but putting on your feet, it's an immune booster. So that was kind of where the company started with the sunscreen, tallow balm, lip balm, decongestant, etc. But then I was finding that a lot of women were coming to me. Things kind of come in seasons, it seems like.
Mhm.
And I was having a lot of women that were in the perimenopause, menopause area that were coming into my life. And a lot of them had similar issues that I just kept hearing over and over again. And when that happens, I like to listen and just say, okay, what am I hearing and why am I hearing this? What is the message behind it? And I had a lot of women that were saying they were spotting or bleeding after sex. There was burning, there was micro tears, there was dryness, there was itching. Any pleasure was basically gone because the lack of lubrication, and it just hurt. It was painful. And it was happening so often that I started thinking, okay, there has to be something that can help this. But again, not just help it so that you can have so that sex can be fun again, but why don't we heal it? What actually helps the tissue to heal? What can help it have that natural lubrication and elasticity? It's a hormone issue, and so I really encourage women to look into their hormones. But in the meantime, there's a lot going on that women are desperate for healing, and a lot of people are using coconut oil because coconut oil is so healing and so beneficial for so many things. But when we use it as a lubricant, it actually can disrupt our microbiome and make things worse over time, because it is antifungal, antibacterial, and all that. And so, and when I started sharing that, a lot of women are saying, that makes so much sense, because I was using it, I was okay for a while, but now I'm actually going backwards. And so they're like, well, what can we use? Because we need something. And so that's when I started doing research of what can women use of any age group, from honeymooners to young people, as a healthy lubricant. So many people go to the whatever out there to the perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. So that's where our lube launch came. And we actually just launched yesterday. It's so exciting. My email list got first dibs and we about sold out then, but now it went live. And so I have two different lubes. One is scented. And when I say scented, it just has the a pure rose oil and sandalwood, which are very healing, but it's such a light scent that it's not off-putting. My tester group, like I said, they're both edible. And it's not like you're tasting a floral scent and an unscented. And I was super, super excited about that. So that's part of a ritual line that's very high-end, luxurious, because I want women to feel like queens and to feel seen and to feel special, but it's also incredibly healing. The testing group just came back with tear jerking results of healing and being able to really enjoy intimacy again.
I love all of that. I love all that because it's so needed and people don't talk about it. And so the fact that you were able to get people who were one wanting to test it, but also the first going back is that you were actually listening to people share these stories and then you were
Yes.
like, hey, why are they sharing these things? Because, you know, a lot of people don't talk about these things that, you know, I shared. You know, I just had, I went through surgery-induced menopause, and then I had a pelvic reconstruction surgery recently. And there's a lot of things. It's like you think it's okay for some of the things that you're feeling like, oh, this must be just I'm aging, or this is just a part of
Right.
life, or all of these things. But when you really think about it and you start to do your research, it's not. Some things aren't normal. There are some stuff that you just need to get checked out. I love also how you said to check your hormones to make sure everything's balanced and things like that. But that not only did you, like you said, you didn't need another thing on your plate, but God kept saying like, hey, this is something you're going to do. And the fact that you just woke up and, you know, the ingredients that you come up with and you have all of these dreams is that, you know, I think those, when we don't pay attention to our dreams, we're just, we're doing a disservice because God doesn't put these dreams of these inspirational things that we can create on us and we do nothing about it. So I love all
Right.
the things that you've shared.
Yes.
Is with all of these things, do you guys eat a healthy lifestyle as well? Like, because you said it was important. Our skin, what we put on our skin is more important than what we put in our bodies because on our bodies we have a filter. But is how do you practice like the natural eatings and things like that as well?
Absolutely. That is who I am first and foremost, is you can't outpill a poor diet. My whole life has been helping people heal through food first. As a GAPS practitioner, our food should be our medicine. And so that's the number one thing that I have always focused on for our family is the quality of foods, you know, eliminating seed oils, no GMOs, pasture-raised meats, organic fruits and vegetables, and the whole spectrum because I kind of think of it this way. Years ago, when I was doing more classes, and I did a little shot glass and I put in there water with food coloring, but it was a visual. And I put in there a lot of the ingredients like Monsanto and your Roundup Ready, you know, fruits and vegetables that they make, and the sprays that people put on the gardens, and how they heavily spray the fruit trees and all that. But when we eat that, coffee is one of the highest sprayed crops. So having an organic coffee is so important for those that love coffee. And so I put in there, I'm like, would we serve our children this shot glass of chemicals? Then because they're in it from the seed, like from the seed to the very maturity of a plant, why are we eating them? And I know sometimes that finances can be an issue, but we literally did nothing as a family because we were poorer than church mice for a vast majority of our life. But we bought organic and we did pastured meats. We raised it. We traded. I did so much in trade, and so that is first and foremost important because if we're consistently eating these little doses, micro doses of toxins, if we're eating genetically modified foods, if we're eating animals that have hormones and are fed a primarily grain-fed, genetically modified diet, that's going into us. And so that is feeding disease. So I tell people, look at your plate and what on your plate is fighting disease or feeding disease. And so, yes, that is very much first and foremost who we are is what we eat because we are a product of what we eat.
I love what you said. I mean, I think that I love how you shared all the things like how to look at if we're what to eat, the vegetables, all this stuff, making sure that they're organic and also about the chemicals. And I love that you said about coffee too, because my husband and I were actually at the grocery store yesterday and we were trying to find a coffee that we really liked that wasn't so bitter. I love to just have decaf coffee. I just love the taste, but also thinking like, he's like, I just don't feel like these coffees are right. And so we're like looking at trying to research. I didn't even think about organic coffee. So that's something we're going to look at. But because we go up to the store, it takes us a long time because we're like reading the ingredients, we're looking at things. And now we kind of have our list of our main stuff, but it's hard to find. But one of the things that you said is that even when you didn't have a lot of money, that you were, I think you said poor as church mice, that you still made sure that you were spending the, money on organic foods and things like that. And I think that's so important because some people are like, well, I just don't have enough money. And people say like eating healthy is expensive. But I think that what's so important is one, I love how you said that, back then you were very poor, but that you actually made the sacrifices to make sure that what you're spending your money on was the things that we put into our bodies. But I just lost my train of thought. But the thing is that what you, sorry, I just lost my train. It was so important.
That's okay.
That it was, that you still made the sacrifice. You did the stuff that what you put in your bodies. You were poor, but you made sure that you were feeding yourselves right because it's so important, and how that transitioned to where you are now. Like with you, I had a whole thought going. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I can hop in with something that you said.
Yeah.
So two things. When I look at my kids, and I fought cancer with my daughter, with my mom. Once you have a child with a disease, you don't have choices. If you're going to, when you're fighting, you have to do certain things. And that's when a lot of people wake up. It's like, because they're fighting for their life, they're fighting for their child's life. And my whole passion has been prevent, do as much as you can to prevent. If you're feeding our families, if we're feeding our families chemically sprayed fruits and vegetables, we're feeding them things that are proven to cause cancer. So we sacrificed, and we never went out to eat. We never bought, we lived so very frugally, but I didn't have time, quote, to garden, but we gardened. My husband was up at 4:30, got home at 7:30, but we still had a huge garden. Actually, it was a 5,000 square foot garden in Kentucky. But even if it's a small one, we traded things for pastured meat for a time. And so we did whatever we could, because I would rather not go to the mall as a mom, but feed my kids very healthy. I look at them and I'm like, I'm either feeding disease or I'm feeding life. And so that was kind of my whole concept. It was the one area we didn't compromise on, was food. And for a coffee, this is a plug. My cousin actually started a mission of teaching children and families in Nicaragua how to raise coffee organically. And they do 100% of the proceeds to help build homes and that for children. And it's called Better Life Coffee. And their decaf is made with water processing instead of lye. So it is a coffee that is absolutely delicious, organically raised, and has an incredible mission behind it that I love. So there's a plug for organic coffee.
I love that you said, and then while you were talking, I remember what I said is that if we don't do it, if we don't if we pay cheap for our food, or we're not, we're being, skimpy on the things that we're putting into our body, we're going to pay for it later. Like the cost is going to add up later. And we're also going to cut short our lives, is what we can possibly have happen to us. And so it's really important. And I love how you said you didn't really have time to garden, but you guys still garden and worked at. It's like, you can stop doing things and cut time. I'm a time management coach, and I find that some people say, well, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for this. Give me your phone, I can show you. You are spending way too much time on social media, way too much time binge watching. There are things that you can do, and it's your life at stake here. And so you're telling me that you don't have time to do all these things, yet you can sit on the couch and binge watch something, and your life's going to end shortly. It's not going to be, you're not going to have a longevity of life.
Or quality.
Or
it's more
quality.
Like, a lot of time the quality, people, they're alive, but the quality, they don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes so quickly when we address our diet.
Love that. I love to garden myself. I don't have as many natural things that I'm growing right now, because just the weather seasons are changing. But one of the best things I do, I actually not only do, and it's sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go out there and water and do all these things. But it also gets me outside. It moves my body. I get the sunlight in. And I just love. My husband laughs. He goes, "You just like to make dirt look clean." I'm like, I love to just do that. It's a peaceful. It's actually it's a serenity to me. is
Yeah.
and bringing me that peace and stuff like that. Like we grow not as many things as I'd like to right now, but green onion, I'm looking into growing like lettuce and different types of things like that. But we have grapes and things like that. But
I love it.
it's such a it for me it's peace, but we also have like animals, I have a desert cicada tortoise and it grows through so much lettuce, and I find that if I get like it gets sick if I don't give it the right, like if I'm washing and I'm stuff like that, and some of the stuff I just don't trust anymore. Like I
Right.
don't know what they're spraying on these things. Is this an exotic animal? Like I don't want to do that. And so I'm like, wait, I'm really concerned about this animal. I need to also be concerned about my own health, right?
It's true because I would have people, and I do all the time, come to me with children that are having struggling with eczema or struggling in school or struggling with allergies or can't eat this or can't eat that. And it's no judgment because we're all in the process of learning. If I could go back and I do so much stuff different, everybody would, because hindsight's 2020. But I had a saying years ago that I actually had it on my van: you pay for your health now, or you pay for it later at a much higher price. And so getting sick, or children that are struggling or having all these digestive issues or whatever it may be, it is, I want to say 75% or more affected by food. And so when we can eat right, it changes everything. But one other thing like that just came to mind when you were talking is fragrances. A lot of people don't realize, I didn't even realize how toxic fragrances are. One of the things, the benefits of essential oils, when you breathe them in, the part of the brain they go to and how healing they are, fragrances are just as toxic. So air fresheners or things that are in our lotions or our shampoos and fragrances are so toxic. So you're the first to know this, Angelina. Part of my luxury line, that comes out with the lube, the muscle rub, the facial exfoliator, and a high-end luxury skincare oil is also tallow-based candles that are scented just with essential oils. Because breathing in candles or air fresheners or sprays that have fragrances affect us, but they affect children so tremendously, breathing that in all the time. But if you can be diffusing, or what you have is 100% natural, it's not just healthy, it's actually beneficial. Because I don't want people to get in the mindset I did for a little bit. I want to cut this out and cut this out and cut this out. But what can I put back in? Instead of just always thinking what I can't do, what can you do? You can put on things on your skin that are healing. You can breathe in essential oils, and everything that we use that put on our skin, there's actually healing. Now with the tallow candles, it's just tallow, beeswax, and essential oils. Now they'll be able to actually benefit from it. So that's kind of the things, is my approach is don't think about what you're taking away. I want to give people the freedom of what can you put back in. Okay, I can't have this, but here's what you can. I can't use this, but here's what you can. And so that's the mentality. And we have an abundance of what we can do. It's just finding the alternatives. And that's what Eat to Live is I want it to be a one place shop where everything is pure enough to eat. And that's our goal.
I love that. I love that. So exciting. So how can people get in touch? I mean, I'll put your notes on your website. Is it just through your website? They'll follow you on social media, but is
Yes.
that where they can buy your products and everything?
Yep. It's www.eat and the number 2 live.life is the website. Yes. And then we are on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I will definitely make sure that people have that, and I'll put it in the show notes and everything. But as we wrap up, I mean, there's so many things. We can have so many different podcasts about all the different things. As I can't wait to like dig in. I want to order a few things myself. But one of the things I always love to ask my guests is, what is one way that they can, one type of action, a word or a phrase, or just something they can do today to start to refine and to shine? Because that's the whole goal, is we have to make things to refine in our lives in order to shine for a better life. So what would you give them, one tip?
I love that. Well, I have kind of two that go together, is because you asked me two different topics. One of them is, when we look at food, is look at the plate, your kid's plate, and say, is this what here is going to feed me, feed health, and what feeds disease? And it's not a judgment, it's just an awareness that I love to have to look at, because I need that sometimes. What is that awareness? Just so we become, the more aware we become, I believe the more better choices we make. And I want to encourage everyone to look at their skin as a conduit to get nutrients into you and your kids. So if you can't get a lot of nutrients into your kids, you actually can put nutrients into them via their skin. And the same for you. You're worth, the value of you is so powerful that it's worth the investment to create that purity, and to what to put on your skin is really healing for you.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for so much. I mean, there's so much great things that you provided us today, and I just truly enjoyed our conversation. So thank you.
I loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.